Welcome back to Peralta Matters. Today's discussion is on student services, and I'm happy to introduce you to Betty Inclan, president of Berkeley City College. Betty, how are you?
I am great, thank you.
Excellent.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming on. In our discussion on student services, let's start with where you are as a president and how you've seen not only the success, but the importance of the student services from your perspective.
Absolutely. Many times when students come to our colleges, we think that they need to have the right classes, and that is true. And we know that they need to have outstanding instructors. But what happens behind the scenes is that first impression when a student comes to the college, and that is getting to that orientation, that assessment area where they're going to assess the student and tell them the classes to enroll in. When the students go to the counseling office, when the student actually finishes the whole process and go through admissions and records, if students need financial aid, these services, it's really, they're so integrated into the fabric of what we do at our community colleges. Because in essence, it's the first introduction to the colleges, but it's also an opportunity for the students to kind of get a sense of how to navigate the system. Students do not know.
Good point.
They come to the college, and these services are what in many cases keeps them enrolled, keeps them in classes. And I was just talking about those first intake services like assessment, orientation, counseling. But then having an opportunity for students to have like the equal opportunity programs and services so that students have special counseling. They can get book vouchers. When there's CalWork students who can then get jobs on campus. That's what makes it possible for the kinds of students that we get. We get all the students. We're open access institution to be able to succeed at our colleges. So I am very proud of our services for all the 4 colleges, and I believe they're essential.
They sound extremely, their essence, the student support services. I mean, without this level of support, like you mentioned, you have to have the professors, you have to have the counselors, but there's this other gray area, you know, that we don't really often talk about or discuss as far as the full matriculation of a student for, you know, from going to completing their AA or their, you know, educational plan here or going on to a 4-year. You need all of these services to help you through that. How do you approach it now, you know, on the other side of the coin? You know, we're seeing the benefit of the student. How does it benefit you as a president? How does it help your job?
Well, obviously, our job is to make sure that our students succeed and get to the goal, their goal attainment. Whether it was to get a certificate, a degree, to transfer. And these services is what makes it happen for the students. In a way, it's a seamless approach so that students can start at the college. They, for example, counselors work with students on what is called the student academic progress, so that students can see whether they're taking the right classes, whether they're on track. Financial aid. So many of our students need financial aid. That's a key component of student services. So as a president, my job is to ensure that even though there have been serious cuts at the state level, that we always maintain a level of service for our students. And more we're talking about the integration between instruction and student services, like for the faculty also, the teaching faculty, to understand these programs so they can refer students to the program so they are intimately also informed and involved with the programs to some degree.
How is that really, is it a factor? Do teachers and professors and some even classifieds have to or should or in some orientating fashion know about these programs on your campus, thus you can, you know.
Very much so. For example, if we talk about transfer during the time that students are planning to apply to transfer to universities, we have a transfer center. That is a service. That is a student service. And we involve the faculty in letting them know these are the workshops. We help students fill out the applications to the universities, how to write the personal statements. So these services not only are involved in what is working with the students internally, but also involving the campus community to understand
Yes.
the value of the services.
Right. Excellent. Speaking of a valuable service, let's discuss the Program for Adult College Education, which was founded, I believe, at Berkeley City College.
Oh, thank you for mentioning it.
No
Makes
problem.
us proud and brings me a smile. So
Great.
PACE is called the program. It's called the Program for Adult Program for Adult College Education,
Okay.
PACE.
Mhm.
And primarily, it was founded at Berkeley City College. There are some other PACE programs around the
Right,
state,
right,
but
understandable.
in Peralta, it was one of the first PACE programs. And what it does is a program targeted to the returning student, the older adults.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, we accept all students in the
Right,
program,
right.
but we make it conveniently accessible to those students. The classes, it's what is called a cohort model.
Okay.
So the students start out with a great deal of counseling initially
Right.
to get into the classes.
Okay.
And they take primarily a course, let's say a course in the evening and courses on weekend. And with this counseling, the cohort of students, let's say the 30 or 40 students who
Right.
start out, then they take the next
Set of
sections
courses. Okay,
of classes and the next set of classes. So obviously it works really well because the students, in a sense, it creates a sense of community for those students enrolled in the program. It includes the counseling component. It's totally integrated.
Right.
So the students have access to counselors. We have a specialized PACE counselor that
Wow.
works with the students.
Okay.
And the students have guest speakers
Wow.
to learn about what it is that they trying to achieve in terms of learning about the world of work. And we get speakers. So it is really a fantastic program. And we have a great coordinator, Dr. David Johnson, who has been coordinating the program.
I know David. Excellent.
Exactly.
Excellent.
And so we think it's a premier program at our college.
Right. One of the other sticklers or points of interest for Berkeley, and I want to talk about how it plays a role in Berkeley City College, is the Disability Act, or the formation of a service provided for disability students. How does Berkeley City College play a role in that?
My understanding is that the city of Berkeley was one of the cities kind of carrying the banner about
Yeah.
the importance of service to students with disabilities. And being in that community where that is very much a value system,
Yes.
clearly our disabled student programs and services, it's again an important program for a college and for the four colleges.
Right.
Students get interpreters, they get an opportunity to really use the kind of equipment that is needed for students with disabilities. So it's an important program.
It's invaluable.
Yeah, it's invaluable.
Great. Thank you so much, Betty. It's been an education and an opportunity for me to learn more about the services at BCC. Thank you again for coming on our show. It was great.
You're a great host, so you made it easy.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
Peralta TV, programs that matter. Peralta TV.